Pisces, welcome to the Winds of Jupiter, July 24th, 2017, weekly tarot reading. Now I pulled 3 cards and I'll be reading those, and then after that I'll be doing a combination card and astrology dice reading. Now the cards aren't in any particular order, and the astrology dice represent the zodiac signs, the planets are lunar nodes, and the houses. And the cards that you receive is the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. When I saw this, I just had to laugh because this is like, all I saw at first was the Queen's just badgering the hell out of this King of Pentacles, the poor guy. And these 2 queens are dipolar opposite. And the Queen of Cups is about emotions and nurturing and nourishing. And the Queen of Swords is about independence, being a stoic person, not giving anybody a chance to even think about exercising emotions. And there's no surprise that the Queen of Cups has her back to the Queen of Swords. Now with this being court cards, all 3 of them being court cards, it might be a busy week for you. And you're only missing the wand suit for the spirit. Because of course the Swords is about air, words, communication, mind and intellect. And the Cups about emotions, love, affection, manifesting deeper bonds. And then the King of Pentacles is about earth, earthly matters, wealth, health, well-being. And it really is in that order. It goes wand, spirit. You have to have that first. Then it goes down to swords, mind, mental ability. And then it goes down to emotions and cups. And then at the bottom, you have the earthly, material things. And there's the poor King of Pentacles. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be any people at all. This could be your own conflicting feelings, schizophrenic feelings, really. Because one minute you're just going to be, just dripping with sympathy, and the next minute it's like, what's the matter? I don't see a problem here. And the King is just trying to understand what the hell is going on. Now the Queen of Cups does feel some sympathy and maybe some empathy for the King of Pentacles because she's facing him. Whereas the Queen of Swords is facing more to the future, where she wants you to think more logically in the future. And it looks like you're going to be thinking more emotionally in the present. Whatever's going on, the King is there to try to untangle this. Make some sense out of it. Make sure there isn't any misunderstandings going on. He's usually about wealth and money. And maybe these women want some from him. But I'm not sure if he's able to give anything that they need. Because I feel like he's in kind of a vortex of confusion. One thing the King of Pentacles knows is that money does not bring happiness. But neither does these opposing forces of these 2 women or 2 men of the other court cards. Because these queen cards can actually personify a male too, or males. But I know even if you're the King of Pentacles, you're going to be trying to keep the peace and understand what's going on and straighten things out and organize it. Now normally the queens bring understanding, but I think the King here is the one that has the understanding. He's understanding that he can't fight these opposing forces, and maybe just letting it run its natural course might be the best option. But here you have to take the best of all worlds and utilize the emotions in the proper time and utilize logic when it's needed. And have all the earthly grounded things working for you. Now in this vortex of confusion, I rolled the dice and you received Virgo, Moon in the 1st house. Now the Moon is your ruling planet. Actually, it's not a planet, but it does rule Pisces. And the 1st house is about self and how you shine to the world, ego even. And Virgo mainly is about details. Okay, it can be about harvest and particular things like that. But the moon in Virgo has you observing in the backdrop other people's feelings. And if you read their feelings right, some doors might swing open for you this week. And I think it's the Queen of Cups that's there helping you sense people's feelings. But you don't always understand them because you have the Queen of Swords there and she's going, what? What's going on? I don't understand these emotions or why you have them. The funny thing this week is that you might assume those that you love, just know that you love them because you're going to be doling out affection very sparingly. Outward, you might be cold as ice, and inward, you're warm and emotional, but you won't tell anybody. And this might have something to do with the moon, where things are hidden in the shadows. Accepting affection and love this week will just be as hard as giving it. Which isn't surprising because you have the presence of the Queen of Swords. Now the Queen of Cups popped into the reading to warn you about distancing yourself from any kind of affection, pushing people away. And the King of Pentacles is here just kind of hanging on his fingertips probably, and he's warning you about being realistic on the earthly side of things. Now, you might not be thinking that you deserve love, but the king disagrees with you. Don't let little things like wayward details take the joy out of life because that's where Virgo gets hung up. Practical and down to earth does not necessarily mean unemotional. Don't be too fastidious in your work or you'll never get anything done. Now, the moon in the first house has you as emotional as you are impatient. You have some volatile mood swings going on here and you're all over the graph. And you could be snapping at anybody that's in hearing distance, so mellow out a little bit this week. Remember to treat your significant others the way you want to be treated. Because you have this dual personality thing going on with these two queens and their influences. You know, 1 minute you could be extending empathy and sympathy and consoling somebody and being actually overly emotional, where people are even questioning your sanity. And then the next minute, you're wondering what the heck's going on. And you're being socially incorrect because you're not having any empathy or sympathy. Inside, you could be a volcano ready to erupt with emotions. And I kept thinking about that Ghostbuster slime, where that's what's erupting. But then again, on the outside, you might seem calm and collected. So let all these court cards help you with these mood swings. Because you have a lot of things going on. You've got the Pentacles for Earth that's grounding you, the Queen for emotions, and the other Queen for the lack of emotions. So it's kind of putting everything either into emotional outbursts to emotionalist doldrums. So you have to start balancing these queens out. And there might be a little cat fight there where the King of Pentacles has to get in the middle of this. Okay, girls, mellow out. Now, Virgo in the first house says, challenging interactions intriguing you. This week you could display the perfect human characteristics of good-natured, intellectual, helpful. And if you don't nitpick on small things, you could really appear to be the perfect human being. But if there's some small misunderstandings, you could be flying at other people's throats. So take time to weigh out your options before you make decisions so you can maintain control of all of the situations that are coming up. I think that's what the King of Pentacles is warning you. And I wish you acceptance, peace, and happiness.